Good evening. This regular meeting of July 17th of the Dubuque Community School District Board of Education is called to order. Our mission is to develop world-class learners and citizens of character in a safe and inclusive learning community. Roll call, please.
Bradley? Here. Jones?
Here.
Parks?
Here.
Prohaska?
Here.
Ryan?
Here.
Sancy?
Here.
Whitman?
Here. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I move the Board of Education approve the agenda as submitted.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve the agenda as submitted. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? That motion carries.
I move the Board of Education approve the minutes of the regular meeting on June 12th, 2023, and the special meeting of July 10th, 2023, as submitted. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve the minutes of the regular meeting of June 12th, 2023, and the special meeting of July 10th, 2023, as submitted. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. That brings us to board salutes. I believe we have at least one.
I
Ms.
have
Jones?
one, yes. So a board salute goes to the many staff and community partners helping make this year's Summer Academy a success. Through July 28th, almost 250 soon-to-be second graders are spending the morning engaged in reading instruction led by certified district teachers. And then they are spending the afternoons in enrichment activities organized by the district and offered by many community partners. Our Summer Academy students are filled with smiles and laughs while also keeping their brains learning. So thanks to all involved in this amazing opportunity for our students as we continue to provide support for student learning. It's a great program. I know my kiddo's been through it.
Mine too. Any other board salutes? Okay, thank you.
I move that the Board of Education suspend the rules of order and go into open forum.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education suspend the rules of order and go into open forum. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. If there's anyone wishing to address the board, they may do so at this time. We ask that you state your full name, relationship to the district, and limit your remarks to 3 minutes.
I move that the Board of Education reinstate the rules of order and return to regular session.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education reinstate the rules of order and return to regular session. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
I move the Board of Education approve those items listed on the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve those items listed in the consent agenda. Is there any board member wishing to pull any item? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. All right, so that brings us to our Facilities and Support Services Committee report from Mr. Prohaska.
Thank you. Our Facilities Committee met on Monday, July 10th, and I'll go over some of the things that we discussed and then have some motions that are coming up. We discussed and we approved already on the consent agenda, the school resource officers for our district for the following year. Very valuable in our schools. We have a good relationship with our school resource officers, and we are very pleased with them.
Absolutely. Yes, we're very lucky.
And we also discussed a little bit about the Nick Rettenberger discussed with us the Roosevelt Middle School roof replacement project, which began on June 7th, and it will be completed. It's on time and completed approximately August 18th. He also discussed or reviewed with us, the Eisenhower Elementary School mechanical system, and the demolition is complete, and the completion date is August of 2023 as well, so it'll be ready for school. He also discussed the transportation fuel system replacement. The project is set to be complete by August 22nd. Then we had a report about the Sageville Elementary School project. Construction should start soon. It'll take a couple weeks. It should be completed prior to the start of school this fall. Rob Powers gave us an update on the Lincoln Elementary School Outdoor Wellness Project, and it's still on track and should be out to bid in November. Then we had a report about the preschool renovation project. The project is in the design phase, and there are regular meetings with staff and leadership. Tentative timeline for the opening of the preschool is the fall of 2024. Then Josh Posiak, our new energy specialist, gave us a report on the district as far as synergistic goes. He's done a successful summer setback so far, visiting 18 to 21 buildings each week. Wow. And finding energy savings opportunities while working with building automation systems, BAS. Then Superintendent Hawkins gave us a report on the middle school consolidation plan. Shared with us that the committee is right now in the process of gathering petitions, and the petition is out and circulating and is expected to be presented at the August board meeting. The YES committee has been formed and have been meeting on a weekly basis. Okay, I think that's about all the things I don't have a motion on, so I'll go now to some of the motions. I move that the Board of Education approve change order number 9 to Tricon Construction Group on the Senior High Phase 2 project in the increased amount of $62,738.13.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve change order number 9 to Tricon Construction Group on the Senior High School Phase 2 project in the increased amount of $62,738.13. Is there any discussion?
I'd just like to add that the report was that the senior high project is 83% complete. Finishing date will be October of 2024. And this change order involves a wall in the boiler room, door hardware, and some ADA specifications.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
I move that the Board of Education approve the executed construction contract, bonds, and certificate of insurance with Ardent Lighting Group, LLC, for the Dalzell Field Video Board Replacement Project in the amount of $360,000.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve the executed construction contract, bonds, and certificate of insurance with Ardent Lighting Group, LLC, for the Dalzell Field Video Board Replacement Project in the amount of $360,000. Is there any discussion?
This project will start mid-July, and the completion date will be in mid-January. So the present video board, scoreboard will be used this fall.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries.
I move that the Board of Education tentatively approve the plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimated total cost for the Sageville Storm Water Culvert Replacement Project, and set the date, time, and location as August 7th, 2023 at 4:30 p.m. at the Dubuque Community School District, 2300 Cheney Road, Dubuque, Iowa, for a hearing thereon, and further authorize the advertisement for competitive bids.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education tentatively approve the plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimate of total cost for the Sageville Stormwater Culvert Replacement Project, and set the date, time, and location as August 7th, 2023 at 4:30 p.m. at the Dubuque Community School District, 2300 Cheney Road, Dubuque, Iowa, for a hearing thereon, and further authorize the advertisement for competitive bids. Is there any discussion?
I understand this is about 400 feet of a metal culvert type system, and a concrete or cement culvert system will be put in.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
I move that the Board of Education approve the professional services agreement with Origin Design Company for survey, engineering, design, and construction-related services for various minor district improvement projects.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve the professional services agreement with Origin Design Company for survey, engineering, design, and construction-related services for various minor district improvement projects. Is there any discussion?
This is kind of a retainer, and we use them on an as-needed basis.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
I move that the Board of Education approve Capra Bank as a depository for district funds in the maximum amount of $50 million.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve Capra Bank as a depository for district funds in the maximum amount of $50 million. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries.
I move that the Board of Education approve the facility beliefs as submitted.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve the facility beliefs as submitted. Is there any discussion?
This is an annual review of our beliefs, how we should deal with our facilities.
Yep, no changes since last.
No changes.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? That motion carries.
I move that the Board of Education adopt a resolution accepting endorsement that the district's insurance carrier will indemnify an employee required to give bond for faithful performance of duties required by law.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education adopt a resolution accepting endorsement that the district's insurance carrier will indemnify an employee required to give bond for faithful performance of duties required by law. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries.
I move that the Board of Education adopt a resolution to void a bid from Mike Finn & Ford dated May 2021 for the purchase of 2 four-wheel drive regular cab truck chassis with truck body.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education adopt a resolution to void a bid from Mike Finn & Ford dated May 2021 for the purchase of 2 four-wheel drive regular cab truck chassis with truck body. Is there any discussion?
This resolution is voided due to the fact of a supply of trucks available.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries.
I move that the Board of Education approve the quarterly budget report.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve the quarterly budget report. I believe we'll be getting a report from Mr. Till.
Good evening, board members. Basically, in your packets on page 94 to 102 is where the quarterly report is, but there's just a few items as we're going over it I just want to bring to your attention. First one is general fund revenues. So the report shows the district received slightly more than what was budgeted, and the reason for that has to do with fiscal year 21-22 revenues that come in after July 1st for the fiscal year. And these revenues are what we call accruals, and they will be subtracted from the total from 22-23, where we'll add the 22-23 revenue that comes in after July 1st. So we're still calculating for that the 22-23 school year, that our early estimates are that there'll be a decrease in the total revenue from the amount listed in the report, but the net accrual will still be slightly higher than what previous projections and budgets were. So we should be okay there. So that's sort of on the general fund side. The other fund I want to talk about is the nutrition fund. On page 100 is the nutrition fund revenue, and the report shows that the year-to-date revenues are $6.8 million, which is lower than the previous year. And the main reason for this is the decrease is because every student was eligible for a free meal in 21-22 fiscal year. So the federal government did not extend that for 22-23. So that's why the revenue ends up being lower. And the only other area I want to bring to your attention is the sales tax fund expenditures on page 101. So the report there shows a large deficit balance of $6.1 million in the budget balance column. So the reason for that is because the encumbrances include the senior renovation project for future year's projects. So what happens is at 6.1 deficit, there's a PO out there for the full amount that'll get carried forward to the future year. So basically, otherwise, we're right on line with expenditures for the sales tax fund. Does anyone have any questions on anything else in the report that you looked at all?
Questions?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for subbing in for our Alaskan adventurer.
So after hearing the report, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Prohaska. That brings us to our Educational Programs and Policy Committee report from Ms. Bradley.
Thanks, Dr. Perks. Just as Mr. Prohaska's report was a summary of the fuller discussion from that committee meeting, so also is mine from the Educational Programs and Policy Committee. We met on July 11th at 4:30 in the boardroom. For those of you who would like to attend, we always welcome folks to come and observe the meeting, and our next one will be on August 8th at 4:30 in the boardroom. So please consider yourself invited. We'd love to have you. The agenda, as typically, is divided into two sections. One section is the educational programs section, which is focused around the strategic plan of the Dubuque Community School District, and it particularly highlights issues in the area of student achievement. And so we heard, first of all, interesting presentation by, I'll say, 4 people. No, 3 people and 1 other. We heard from Chris Oberhofer, who's the principal at Washington Middle School, and he brought his dog Millie, who is a therapy dog. And this item on our agenda was very much a learning experience for me. I didn't know a lot about our therapy dogs, that we have them in our middle and high schools. And we also heard from Megan Elsinger, who's the principal of Lincoln Elementary, about Roscoe, the therapy dog at Lincoln. Obviously doing wonderful things for students in the school setting. And we were delighted to have visitor number 3, Gage, who is a student at Washington Middle School. And he talked about how important Millie is for him in his life as a student at Washington Middle School. It was very, very informative to me to hear Gage's description of how Millie helps him and to see his interaction with Millie. It was really delightful. We did not get to meet Roscoe directly, but we trust that Roscoe and the other therapy dogs are also doing a lot of good work. It was interesting, what do those therapy dogs help students focus on? One is incentive for students who are just doing a good job, and their reward for continuing to do that sometimes is that they get to meet with the therapy dog, or they get to take it for a walk. They get to give it a break, whatever. Also for students with behavior issues, also for students on the autism spectrum. So our therapy dogs perform a lot of different roles and functions for different students who have different needs, and it sounds as if in so many ways they really help our kids be good learners and have positive experience in our school setting. So that was really neat. I learned also that in order for a therapy dog to be brought into the school setting, it first of all has to have training and be certified as an AKC good citizen. And so I'm sure there are details about that if anybody wants to know. But I think it's important that our dogs are trained, that they do go through a selection process that is important for their presence in the school. Parents also are informed before a dog is introduced to the school setting so that they can apprise the school of any allergies or any anxiety that might be caused by that for their child. And so nothing happens until parents have been given that notice and a chance to interact about it. And then teachers and staff can sign up to use the dog for student interaction. So it was very fun to learn about it, certainly to meet Millie and to watch Gage interact with her, but also just to learn about the concept of therapy dogs. We continue to look for ways to support our students, and that seems like that's a really neat way to provide some additional services of support. We appreciated Megan Elsinger's bringing information from the Lincoln setting as well about Roscoe, so you may want to stop in and meet Roscoe. Then we heard from Joe Maloney. Joe is our Activities Director, Activities and Athletics Director, and Joe will be the upcoming principal at Marshall Elementary for this upcoming school year. He came with his athletic director hat on to this meeting, where he informed us that we will, at our next month, review Policy 3600, which is about activities passes. And the board was really pleased to hear that he and the Activities Council want to make a change to the current policy, which suggests that all staff can use their name tags, their name badges, to get into activities and athletics for the next school year without cost. I think that's pretty cool. It's also, he would like to make available, as some districts do, an all sports individual pass, which would be $150 for the whole year for all athletic events at any school. And lastly, he will bring to us at our next meeting an increase in admission ticket prices from the current $6 per person per event to $7, which, as Mr. Maloney explained, is still considerably below what most other districts our size in Iowa charge. So we're pleased to keep that cost down and certainly understand the increase. Then we moved on to the policy portion of our agenda, where we reviewed 5 policies in our quest to ever be reviewing policies at each meeting to complete that cycle of review every 5 years. We just approved 4 of those policies in the consent agenda. Policy 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. We sent back policy 6217, not because of its content, but because it seems combinable with another policy. So the board will relook at that at our next meeting. Then, at the conclusion of our meeting, Superintendent Hawkins brought us a little bit of information about the bond petition coming up. The committee is still collecting signatures. So I want to urge the public, signing the petition means that you support that it comes on to the November election ballot as a point of consideration for the community. Short of having the signatures we need, we would not be able to bring that forward for a vote. And so we urge you, whether you support the referendum or you don't, help us to be a part of getting it on the ballot. And from 7:30 in the morning till 4:30 in the afternoon, our wonderful receptionist, Val, will be at her desk right inside the front door, and she'll have a petition that you can sign, and it'll just take a minute. So we urge you to do that. That's at the Forum, 2300 Cheney Road in Dubuque. So we concluded our meeting, and I just bring that summary, Dr. Parks.
All right, thank you so much. All right, is there any new business? Any board member administrative issues that were not on the agenda? I would just echo what Ms. Bradley said about making sure to get the petition signed so that that measure can be on the ballot. Anything else? All right, we are adjourned. Enjoy the lovely weather.